Today marks 1259 days sharing lessons I learned and continue to learn with all of you. My hope that these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help you achieve your goals, and really empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today I speak about a very interesting topic, and that is emotional exhaustion. Emotional exhaustion. I think that every single person needs to really understand, because every single person will have experienced that. Now, it might be that someone will experience just very limited emotional exhaustion, and some person will maybe experience a big, massive emotional exhaustion. But I think that every single person will have experienced emotional exhaustion in their lifetime, because adversity will show up. Adversity for sure will show up in every single person's life. It could be that some adversity is not that big, and some people are massive adversity. And of course, it depends how big the challenges you put yourself into. Because if you play very, very safe and you live a mediocre life, of course, those challenges might be a little bit smaller. But a lot of times, those external adversities, we're not able to choose. It's a lot of time also given. That's probably the biggest part, is that adversity that is thrown at you is sometimes even luck that you're not able to guarantee it. That's just one person gets bigger, some person gets smaller, and you're not able to do anything about it. The only thing that you're able to do is take care of yourself, just to make sure that what you're able to do to make sure that really be able to overcome that of that emotional exhaustion stronger than used to be even before. There's a lot of things that people feel when they emotionally exhausted. Of course, it could be fatigue, loss of motivation, difficulty focusing, maybe even craving for food that they usually don't eat, sugar products, junk food, or whatever it is, emotional numbness even. And I think that sometimes a lot of times people really want to start listening some positive audios, positive videos, positive uplifting messages, but a lot of times those positive messages even make it worse, because it's almost like putting some kind of gas on a fire of emotional exhaustion, because it just doesn't connect where you are. Because sometimes we need to have a calmness, not positivity in our lives, to just get back into that. Because if you are so deep in the hole, sometimes that very, very positive upside is not good. We need to sometimes go after neutral before we're able to go up positivity. So today we'll share six things that we potentially could reflect on when you think about emotional exhaustion, and not just about ourselves. I think that's very, very important to understand emotional exhaustion, not just from our own perspective, but understanding from other perspective. That means if someone is going through emotional exhaustion, what could I do to help them out? What could I do to help them out? Because I think that there's a lot of people who are able to really hide their emotional exhaustion, hide in them, because they have a mask. They're wearing the mask every single day. It's very hard to really share that someone is going through something. I think that this is again one thing that we need to learn, how to express our true feelings, because I think that there's a lot of things that is hidden in that I'm fine, but when people are truly not. The first thing that I want to share, that when emotional exhaustion is kicking in, people are not lazy, they're just shutting down. I think that a lot of times people are very, very quick to label someone one way. Oh, this person is lazy. But have ever people really looked into that person, how he lives, why he lives, what his purpose, what his passion? Because I think that when you really start looking at asking questions, and you realize that person who is deemed as lazy is just purposeful, is purposeless. So this doesn't have any purpose, doesn't have any passion, doesn't have any pursuit. I think that lazy person could become, I think that every single person is motivated. But motivated in a sense that they are motivated for the things that matters to them. I think that so many people are so far away from their true purpose, for their true goal. Because there are sometimes people, there's two train lines, and your line and then potentially society line. And I think a lot of times that people sit in a society line and it goes totally different direction. And your line goes to the left, and then society goes to the right, or vice versa. And society goes so far away, and then we've been in that train for so long, you forget there was another train line that we were able to choose 10, 20 years ago. And if you forget that, we're able to really go back, but That's that going back, because now the trajectory is so far away. You'll need to go back, and that will require a lot of time. And I think that because that transition now back into your line will take so much time, so much effort, people feel emotionally exhausted and they just stay in that strain, even though that is still going farther and farther and farther and farther away from your line. And at some point, I think that's where people feel they call people lazy, because they just do not live the way how they're supposed to live. And I think that this one part of emotional question. I think that sometimes you need to really immerse the brake in that train and say, like, I'm not going anywhere. I need to stop and stop going farther away from where I'm supposed to go, and really start walking to the direction that is my direction. Number two, I want to mention motivation doesn't come before action. It comes from safety. I think that foundational thing is a Maslow's pyramid. I think that a lot of times we're not able to pursue big things until we feel safe. I really love the example is that, like, it's very, very hard to really do yoga in a burning house. If it's if the house that you are in is burning, probably will not be able to really sit calmly and be emotionally peaceful. No, we probably will go out of that house to really make sure that the first safety part is taken care of. I think in life is exactly the same way. I think that a lot of times people are struggling to find their true safety, and that safety is so many different things. Safety is confidence, safety is courage, safety is a skill set that you have developed, safety maybe even be a job that has a stable income for a short period of time. There are so many things could be stable. Stable is your resilience, stability. So safety is a lot of different things. And we need to ask, okay, what kind of safety do I need? What kind of anchor do I need in my life? That safety anchor. Even faith is an amazing safety anchor. Knowing that you will be taken care of when you're able to really have that faith and taking action. Faith and taking action. Faith and taking action. I think that a lot of times I think we lose our ourselves in that hope, and that the hope doesn't give you that action, because future will be better when you base your aspirations on actions. I think that a lot of times we live in delusion by really hoping that things will change, and we're hoping and waiting and waiting and waiting, but things will not change until you change, and you change your actions, your behaviors. So first thing we need to understand is sometimes, okay, like if I want to have that massive vision, but then I have the safety, okay, what do I need to do? What do we need to do right now to build that safety into my life? And there's a lot of different things that could be safety. Your energy levels, your physicality, your spirituality, your emotional state. So all those things could be the safety foundational things, just to make sure that finances, just to make sure that we have that safety to pursue the bigger vision. Number three, I think that people craving for junk food or sleep or zoning out, and I think that it's not a bad behavior per se. It's a self-soothing behavior. So it means that a lot of times we have strategies to soothe ourselves, to protect ourselves, to don't feel the same the way how we feel. So even though those strategies are terrible long term, but sometimes short term might work. If you self-soothe just for a second to be able to do the right things to get out of it, I think that sometimes it's bad strategies could end up being good. But if you taking those bad strategies without taking good strategies, those will lead to even worse. Because bad strategies, bad behavior leads to bad results. But again, sometimes I think that people call it bad behavior without understanding. Sometimes it's very hard to really build that emotional stability in the moment, because I think that the most important part, what I really love, is that you don't jump in your emotional exhaustion from being fully emotional exhausted to really be emotionally perfect. But what you're able to do is that if you say that, let's say rate from -10 to +10, so you're not able to move from -10 to +10. So if you're -9, and that means that all those minus could be still you're able to get better with those minor bad behaviors. So self-soothing behaviors that really allows you to get a little bit of emotional stability to do the right thing, right behaviors that leads to really better results. And I think that we're able to really say -8, -7, -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, neutral, and then of course we'll start looking to remove all those bad behaviors and put only good behaviors. I think that's in that sense, I think that we're able to really think about as a bad behavior is a good behavior, because this bad behavior that was it was -8, but now we're looking to just a little bit better behavior. So that means that it was worse, now is terrible, now it's not that bad. So that means that we're able to really rate our behavior based on the worst to the best. And sometimes you're not able to take from the worst behavior to the best behavior. So that means we're able to make smaller shifts in our behavior just to make sure that we're able to achieve better results. I hope that you understand that. That means that self-soothing behavior in a short period of time, when it's getting better, could be great because it's simpler to do those incremental improvements. Very important. Number 4, toxic positivity makes it worse. I think that is, again, this is one of the biggest thing that I think that so many people get stuck in, is that when people feel very, very terrible, and now they put information that is very, very great, and there's those emotions from the worst emotions to the best emotions. So that means that you really want to jump from the worst emotions to the best emotions, and that massive gap doesn't allow you to do that, and you even stuck, and you potentially start to feel shame or guilt, not being able to feel good. I think that there is a great pyramid of emotions and the energies and vibrations of the emotions, and there's anger, shame, guilt, and you look into, okay, what kind of emotions should I feel to really elevate myself? And I think that we're supposed to look into, okay, I used to feel guilt, now I need to move to anger. I need to move to some kind of neutrality. So it means one by one, trying to really elevate yourself in those from a worse emotion to a little bit better emotion, better emotion, better emotion. And those first 6 emotions will be not good emotions. Those will be bad emotions, but they are better than before. I think it's such a powerful thing. Again, that incremental improvement, moving from shame and guilt to anger. To be angry that this is a spot, and being able to really change that and really move to another negative emotion, but is better than before. I think that's where the true success happens. Incremental improvements for people who are emotionally exhausted. And that's where just feel good, everything will be okay. I think it doesn't work because you need to move incrementally, not, I love the saying, from 0 to hero. No, we need to move that incrementally. Number 5, focus and energy don't break through. They return when you stop pretending you are fine. I think this is such a beautiful thing. That means I think that we want to feel okay. We want to feel positive. We want to be effective. We want to be productive. We want to be focused. And sometimes wanting to feel that way, it's stopping us from really allowing to feel the emotions, accept the emotions, and really allocate the energy necessary to really get from where we are to where we need to be. Because if we do not accept where we are, we base our actions on a hope where we're supposed to be. So that means I think that we always need to be this is where I would love to be. This is where I am. So what kind of actions do I need to take to get there? But if said I want to be here, and I base actions from here because I want to be here, that means that we will not be able to really get any better because we do not accept where we are. So that means that today I'm not fine. I need to, because I'm not fine, that means that maybe of my today's list, I will need to add 1 more hour on the things that elevates my energy, elevates my emotions, elevates myself, so I could do the things that is necessary. So that means that when you feel emotionally exhausted, what you need to do? You need to do more energy allocate on emotion elevation, elevation yourself, elevation your feelings, elevation of you as a human being, and investing in yourself, investing in your physicality, in your emotions, in your spirituality, in your mental energy. And when you allocate in that time, you elevate those. At that moment, you're able to really do the right things, because I think that a lot of times we want to feel okay, and because of that we want to do the right things, but because we didn't focus on ourselves, we are not able to be productive and focused, and we do not get any results. And because when you don't get results, we even feel worse. So it's very, very, very important to understand where we are, accept where we are, and base our actions where we truly are emotionally, not just where we would love to be. The last one, number 6, I would love to mention that you're not broken. You are full. You are totally full. I think that you're full. Your cup is full, because emotional exhaustion is a cup. So many emotions came in from a lot of different things. And I think the number one thing that we need to do sometimes is really throw those emotions out and really start to pour other emotions, pour positive emotions, and attract those emotions, and really making sure that. And this, I really love that emotion cup analogy. That means that when you have so much emotions, negative emotions, again, you will never be broken. The only thing that we need to understand is that our cup of emotions are full of negative emotions. And we need to change that. We need to improve that. We need to really allocate our time to really pour that cup out and start pouring the positive emotions. And at that some point, we'll be fulfilled, peaceful, joyful, blissful. All those emotions that really allows us to live a much more joyful life. And I think that every single person could find a way how to really move from emotional exhaustion to positive. Just we need to understand, okay, what is in my life that really elevates my emotions? What is that really triggers me to feel better about my life, about myself, about everything around me? Because every single person needs to have really great coping mechanisms to really put themselves in best position to take action, and those actions will lead to better results. So I hope you just win, and see you tomorrow.